Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's take a moment to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where you can sit with your spine and the back of your neck nice and tall, relaxing your shoulders, rolling them back, opening up your diaphragm, opening up your chest, opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or a phrase to have with you on the mat and perhaps carry with you throughout today. For this morning's intention, I'd like to talk about the fifth Niyama. The fifth Niyama is Ishvara Pranidhana, which is Sanskrit for surrender. Ishvara Pranidhana presupposes that there is a divine force or something greater than ourselves at work in our lives, which invites us to surrender our egos, open our hearts, and accept the higher purpose of our being. Surrender, however, is not passive. It is not giving up. It asks us to be strong enough to engage in each moment with integrity and at the same time be soft enough to flow with the current of life. That statement reminds me of the Serenity Prayer, which I learned many years ago. And the Serenity Prayer goes, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change those things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So we're going to take a few moments of meditation, and I'm going to show you a mudra that is called Pranidhana. It's not the Ishvara part, that's the Pranidhana Mudra, and it supports us in surrendering, in letting go of attachments, and releasing what we don't need in order to make space for what we do need. So when we meditate and you want to use this mudra, and the mudra, again, is everyone has meridian points, and you use that a lot in acupuncture. And the meridian points, there's a lot in your fingertips, and they send energy currents back into you. So they redirect those energy currents by you touching your fingers, or like an acupuncturist putting pins and pressure points in certain areas. So the Pranidhana Mudra is you take your hands and you fold your ring finger and your middle finger, so your index and pinky and thumb are out. And then you bring the pinky and the index finger together, and you can just rest that down on your lap. And again, that one supports us in surrendering, releasing what we don't need in order to make space for what we do need. So let's just take a few moments, and you can use that mudra, or if you have another mudra that you like to use, or just relax your hands on your lap. That's fine. We'll just take a few moments to have a quick meditation. So gently close your eyes or leave them half open with a soft gaze, and breathe deeply and relax into your meditation. You may open your eyes now. We'll just talk a little bit about what we'll be doing today, which is Yin Yoga, as opposed to the Hatha Yoga that we typically do in this class. So Yin Yoga is often called the yoga of the joints, because unlike other styles of yoga, the emphasis is not on the muscles, but on the deep connective tissue, and sometimes called fascia. So there's 3 principles of Yin Yoga. First one is to find your edge. And by edge, I mean that is your sweet spot between effort and relaxation. You'll find that it's going to be different in each of us. And you would use your intuition as a teacher, and while you compassionately lean into the pose. So if you are paying attention to your breath, if your breath becomes a little shallow, you may be leaning into the pose a little bit too much, or you're feeling that tension that becomes pain, definitely back away from that pose. Tension's okay, pain is not okay. So let your intuition be your best teacher in finding that edge or that sweet spot. The second principle is to become as still as you can be. That's a tough one. So being still as you can be is the doorway of staying present, doorway to staying present. It's a mental and it's a physical challenge, especially in this day and age. We're always on the go, 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 and just being still and being present is a challenge. And then the last one, last principle of Yin Yoga is to surrender to time. You're going to transcend time and place being in this pose. And typically a Yin Yoga pose, it's held at the, for beginners, it's 1 to 3 minutes. We're going to be holding them for 2 minutes today, and we'll do one side for 2 minutes and then the other side for 2 minutes. And then there's ones that we'll do just for 2 minutes. But typically a regular practitioner of Yin Yoga will hold that pose for 5 minutes or even longer. So again, it's working on your deep connective tissue. Don't think you're going to get great abs from doing Yin Yoga. It's all about the tissue that connects your joints. So I'm going to put my glasses down, take off my slippers, and I will meet you on the mat. And for the Yin Yoga, I would highly recommend a blanket or a towel and have it open so that it has a long or a long side to it, like this. Again, a blanket or a towel and a block. And you don't necessarily need them, but if you want to get into a pose, Yin Yoga, the props used in Yin Yoga is all about helping you to sustain the pose. Unlike restorative yoga, props are often used so you can relax and have your body supported by the props. This is just to help you and have you sustain the pose. It's an active pose that you'll be in, and the prop will help you sustain that. So if you can get those two, and you may or may not use them, I often like using the blanket. And for the stillness part, I have affirmations. And since we just had fall on Thursday, we are now well into fall. With I had frost here this morning. So I'm going to have affirmations for the fall, for the autumn, just so that it helps with that stillness. You can focus on that. And let those affirmations kind of sink into you and just be aware of how they make you feel. So we're going to start. I'm going to have my trusty timer by my side. We're going to start in a recline mountain pose, and everything's going to be on the mat today. We're not going to do any standing poses. So ease yourself down onto your back. You can either do one vertebrae at a time, slowly, or rock yourself down onto your back. And we're going to extend our feet out and come into a reclined mountain pose. Mountain pose is our typical standing pose where we work on the essentials of good posture, and we can do that in a reclining manner as well. So your toes would face up to the sky. Their feet are flexed. Your legs are straight and strong with a little bit of a bend, soft bend in your knees. Your navel is tucked toward your spine so that you can bring that lower back down toward the mat. Ideally, it would be kind of touching the mat. Working up, your shoulders are relaxed and roll back, so your shoulder blades are nice and snug into the mat. Your chin is tucked toward your chest ever so slightly, and the crown of your head reaches out to the end of your mat. So your gaze is facing straight up. And these are the essentials of good posture when you're standing. And what we're going to do is place one hand on your tummy and one hand on your chest. We're going to take some deep inhales and exhales for the pranayama part. So inhaling, we're going to make sure that our hand on our tummy, our stomach inflates so that our hand rises up. And then we're going to have that wave of breath come up to our ribs and then come up to our chest. And hopefully you can feel a little bit of movement in your chest. And then on the exhale, you're going to exhale, having that breath flow away from your chest, flow away from your ribs, and flow away from your stomach, deflating your stomach. So take a deep inhale, have your hand rise up, send that Inhale on up to your ribs and then on up to your chest. And then exhale away from your chest, away from your ribs, and away from your tummy. And do this a few more times at your own pace. Deep inhales and deep exhales. Breathing through your nostrils. And if you want to extend your breath, visualize taking a breath from your toes, the tip of your toes, following that breath all the way up through your legs, through your hips, through your stomach, on up to the tip of your nose. And then exhale from the tip of your nose all the way back down to your toes. All right, we're going to move to our first pose, our first asana. And you can continue that nice deep breath when you're in the each pose, letting the pose sink into you with the inhale. And then if you have any tension, perhaps with your exhale, sending that nurturing breath to any tension. So we're going to bring both knees up to our chest, wrap our hands around our knees, and give our knees a nice gentle hug. Make sure your lower back is on the mat. And then we're going to wrap our interlaced fingers around our left knee, sending our right leg out at a 45-degree angle. Toes are flexed up to the sky. And then gently, with control, lower that foot on down to the mat. And we're going to start the 2 minutes here. And the affirmation, like the leaves during autumn, I shed that which no longer serves me. Like the leaves during autumn, I shed that which no longer serves me. You bring both knees back to your chest and give them a nice gentle hug. And then we're going to wrap our hands around our right knee, send our left leg out at a 45-degree angle. Both toes are pointing up to the sky. And then lower your left leg slowly with control down to the mat. And I'll say that affirmation again. Like the leaves during autumn, I shed that which no longer serves me. Like the leaves during autumn, I shed that which no longer serves me. Bring both knees back to your chest, give them a nice gentle hug, and then send both feet down to the mat so your knees are pointing up to the sky. I'm going to go into Recline Pigeon Pose. So bring your right ankle, sit it on top of your left thigh just below the knee. You guide your right knee over to the right side so it's facing the right or pointing to the right side of the mat. And you can stay here in Recline Pigeon Pose, or if you like, you can lift your left leg up, interlacing your fingers behind your thigh. Lifting your left leg up so your toes are, both sets of toes are pointing up to the sky. And you have this as your pose, whichever you prefer. And the affirmation is, I flow easily, accepting and embracing change. I flow easily, accepting and embracing change. And bring both feet back down to the mat. We'll change sides. So bring your left ankle and place it on your right thigh, just below the knee. And guide your left kneecap so that it's pointing to the left side of the mat. Left toes are flexed up to the sky. And you can stay here, or if you like, you can interlace your hands behind your right thigh, lifting your right leg up and pointing the toes up to the sky. And the affirmation again is, I flow easily, accepting and embracing change. I flow easily, accepting and embracing change. Place both feet back down on the mat. We're going to come up into tabletop on our hands and knees. So you can either tuck your hands under your knees and roll up, or tip over to the side and make your way up to your hands and knees. Whichever way works for you. Come on up to your hands and knees. We're going to do deer pose, and I'm going to actually turn this way so that you can see it. So when you come to your hands and knees, your hands are right below your shoulders, knees are right below your hips. You're going to take your knees and set them a little further apart than right under your hips. And then take both feet and kickstand them over to the left side. And then you're going to sit back so that both knees are equal in distance. Your right thigh is placed on your left, your right foot's placed on your left thigh. And so you can stay here. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you can use your blanket to kind of prop you up. That might feel a little bit more comfortable, or even your block might prop you up a little higher. But you want to feel comfortable in this for the 2 minutes. And the affirmation is, and you just place your hands on your knees too. I am rooted and grounded, no matter the direction or force of the wind. I am rooted and grounded, no matter the direction or force of the wind. Okay, come back to tabletop position, keeping your knees open as they are. And then we're going to kickstand our feet over to the right side. Both feet swerve over to the right and then sit back. Again, you can be either on a mat or on a blanket. Left foot comes to the top of the right thigh. Knees are kind of equal distance from the mat edge. And we'll do that. Pose. And the affirmation again is, I am rooted and grounded, no matter the direction or force of the wind. I am rooted and grounded, no matter the direction or force of the wind. We'll come back to tabletop, keeping your knees apart. We're going to go into wide-legged child's pose. So knees are apart, big toes come together. You're going to send your hips down toward your ankles and stretch your hands out in front of you. Now you may want to use your pillow to rest your head on, or you may want to have your arms come to the back side, whichever works for you. And the affirmation for this is, I retreat inward for inspiration. I retreat inward for inspiration. And we'll hold this pose for 2 minutes. Come back up to tabletop. Our next pose is a low lunge lizard. So you move your blanket to the side. And you can do this in a couple different ways. Coming into tabletop, you're going to bring, I'm going to actually work with my left leg so you can see this a little bit better. Bring my left leg so that I'm in a lunge position where the knee is over the ankle. And my both hands will be on the right side of my left foot. My left arm is following the line of my left leg so that the shoulder is almost, well, at least on my body, the shoulder is almost where the knee is, but my left arm is against my left leg and the right hand goes down right next to the left hand. And you can keep your knee bent like this, or you can slide it down and really come into that low lunge lizard pose, whichever works for you. If this is too low, you take your blanket or your block and put your hands on it, raise up. That might be a more comfortable position, giving a little curve to your lower back. And we're going to do 2 minutes on this side. The affirmation is, I am equipped with all that I need in this season of transition. I am equipped with all that I need in this season of transition. And just let those affirmations sink into you. See how they make you feel. And you can come back into your tabletop position. We'll do that on the other side. So switch legs, I'm going to bring my right leg up. So that's in a lunge position, knee over ankle. And you can stay here with your knee, your other knee bent, bringing both hands to the inner part of your foot. So it'd be the inside of your foot, both hands are inside that. The right arm goes against the right leg, follows the line of the right leg. And I like to have it on the blocks because I like to send my left leg back, slide it back, coming into a low lunge version of the lizard pose. So the affirmation again is, I am equipped with all that I need in this season of transition. I am equipped with all that I need in this season of transition. Okay, come back into tabletop position. Move your block off the mat. Now we're going to go into Sphinx Pose. So slide your legs back and slide your arms down so that your elbows right below your shoulder. Your pelvic bones are snug on the mat. And if this is a little bit too hard on your shoulders, you can slide your hands toward the top of the mat so that your elbow is not right below your shoulder. And relax here. Maybe support your chest with your blanket. That way, your tops of your feet are on the mat and your legs are active. Again, these are all active poses. They're not relaxation poses like in restorative. So Sphinx. The affirmation is, I start each day with a grateful heart. I start each day with a grateful heart. Okay, we're going to come back up to tabletop so you can actually push down your hands, come back up to your hands and knees. Back to tabletop, then cross your legs behind you and then bring your hips down to the mat, coming into a seated pose, and we're going to come into staff pose. So staff pose is basically an L shape. Toes are pointing up to the sky. Your legs are active, soft bend in your knees. You can make little fists with your hands and push down into the mat to lift your hip bones off the mat, and then slowly lower your hip bones so that you can really feel your seat. Some of you may want to have a towel. I actually prefer having a towel, a little bit of a prop so that the curve of my spine falls down to the mat a little easier. So we're going to do a sage pose on each side. So you can, one of two things, you can take your left foot and place it beside your right knee on the inner part of your right knee. Or if you'd like, you could flip your left foot to the outer part of your right knee, whichever works for you. And then we're going to wrap our left arm around our left leg, bringing our right fingertips behind, setting them down on the mat right behind our hips. And we're going to turn our upper torso to the long edge of the mat. Again, you can have it on the inside of your knee, on the outside of your knee. And The affirmation is, I allow my mind and body to naturally transform and evolve with the turning of the season. I allow my mind and body to naturally transform and evolve with the turning of the season. Go back, twist back to staff pose, extending both legs, flexing both toes up to the sky, and then we'll do that on the other side. So bring your right knee or your right foot and place it next to your left knee, either on the inner part of your left knee or on the outer part of your left knee. Wrap your right arm around your right knee, sending your left fingertips to the back of your hips, close to your hips, twisting so that your torso is facing the long side of the mat. And the affirmation is, I allow my mind and body to naturally transform and evolve with the turning of the season. I allow my mind and body to naturally transform and evolve with the turning of the season. And turn back, coming back into staff pose. Next pose is called a Recline Butterfly. It's the same as goddess. Yin Yoga has oftentimes different names for the poses that we're familiar with. So I'm going to take my blanket, bring the soles of my feet together. So I'm creating a diamond shape with my legs. Then I'm going to take the blanket, place it on top of my feet, and then reach under my legs, taking the ends of the blanket and pull them toward one another. So I'm creating a circle, snug circle of the blanket around my feet. I absolutely love this. So you could do that, or you can put 2 blocks, if you have 2 blocks under your knees, just to support your legs. And then we're going to roll back. So again, this is Recline Goddess, but they call it Recline Butterfly. And if you want, you can bring your elbows up to shoulder height and make goalposts with your arms. And the affirmation is, I release resistance to change and embrace this new season, and embrace what this new season has in store for me. I release resistance to change and embrace what this new season has in store for me. You can guide your knees back together with your hands on your thighs and guide them back to meet in the middle. And then pull your knees up to your chest and give them a nice gentle hug. Sending our arms out to the side at shoulder height. We're going to do a recline twist. So on the exhale, lower your knees to the right side of the mat. And then gently turn your head to the left to look at your left fingertips. The affirmation is, I harvest the garden of my soul and open my heart and mind to the abundance that life presents to me. I harvest the garden of my soul and open my heart and mind to the abundance that life presents to me. And slowly turn your head back to center. Inhale, lift your knees back to center. And then exhale, lower them to the left side. And turn your head gently to the right to look at your right fingertips. And the affirmation is, I harvest the garden of my soul and open my heart and mind to the abundance that life presents to me. I harvest the garden of my soul and open my heart and mind to the abundance that life presents to me. And slowly turn your head back to center. And then inhale, lift your legs back to center. And then for our last pose, you send your feet down to the bottom of the mat for Shavasana. And send your heels toward the corners of the mat. Let your feet flop open. This is a relaxation pose. And have your arms at a 45-degree angle away from your body, your torso, with your palms facing upward. Lower backs reaching toward the mat. Shoulder blades are nice and snug in the mat. And for the last affirmation, I let nature teach me the art of letting go in order to make way for renewal. I let nature teach me the art of letting go in order to make way for renewal.